What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Tori Grace, and it is another episode of Woman Crush Wednesdays. You guys know I'm always on the road doing something, and I rarely to never record actual podcast episodes in the studio. So this is another one of those quick, short little episodes that I really just needed to say something and kind of get it out there. 2020 has been rough. Obviously, we've been quarantined and inside. It is now June, and here we are still sitting here, just kind of sitting around waiting. So this particular episode is going to be about communication, because I've been watching the news and I see the divorce rates are up, people are separating, and mainly it's because of communication. I know people will be like, oh no, well, it's quarantine, you're stuck in the house with people all day. Yeah, that has something to do with it. But what is your communication like with people? During this time, have you been positive and uplifting? Have you called each other to check on each other? Lots of things have been going on during quarantine, not just the whole stuck in the house thing. People's mental health is kind of on edge right now, and I just want to talk about communication today, and how are you communicating effectively or non-effectively with those that are in your circle, in your family, your co-workers, etc. Are you finding that you are allowing people to dump their trash in your lap, as calling trash negative vibes and juju? Like, when you talk to people, are you only hearing the negative and nasty side of something, or have you been positive and uplifting? Are you effectively communicating with your friends and family members, or are you the last person to find out that something is happening or something has changed within your circle? Are you the last person to find out? And if so, have you asked yourself why? Have you reflected back to see if maybe it's something about you, because your physical presence is no longer there and people have opted to change the way that they are handling and dealing with you? Or are you still the same person from in quarantine that you were when you show up to events? Are you being invited to Zoom Girls Night In, or are you just completely left out? How's your text messaging? Have you literally checked on any of your friends? Have you taken a step further, rather than just saying something is wrong with me all the time, to check on your friends and family members? How is your communication right now? I think a lot of the times people have a tendency to kind of get stuck on themselves, in themselves, and don't know how to effectively communicate with others. And right now, communication is the biggest way that we have to interact with each other, whether it be via text message, instant messenger, a phone call, a Facebook message. Like, communication is all that we have right now, because that physical interaction is limited. Yes, things are slowly opening up, but you do still have some people out there that are not comfortable with that in-person interaction yet. So I'm just asking, what is your communication like with others? I've noticed over the last couple of weeks that you start to learn more things about friends, family, co-workers, things of that nature, that everybody is not capable of dealing with being with themselves. Even their own self-interaction is not good, that they rely heavily on others to interact with them because they're not happy with themselves. So this further goes to what we've talked about before on the happiness scale of ensuring that you are dealing and checking on your mental health. And I keep hearing, well, you have kids, this is why you're able to feel that way, you don't understand. Well, child interaction, I'm telling you, is not the same as adult interaction. Those are two totally different things, and we don't always want to talk to our kids. I love my kids dearly, but that's not a conversation I want to have about whatever cartoon my kid is into right now. I think it's the Number Blocks that we've been watching constantly for the last couple of weeks. I want to talk about something else. I want to get dressed up and step out. But unfortunately, that's not the thing we can do right now. So my communication has to be crisp, on point, and damn near perfect right now. If I want to be able to hold adult conversations and interact with others, it's important that I'm aware of my surroundings and what others may be going through. I know a lot of the times people, again, are the dumpers. I've learned in the 37 years that I have been on this planet that a lot of the times that if you allow people to continuously call and dump their garbage on you, it's going to leave you in a funky mental space. You're not able to interact effectively and deal with the things that you need to deal with on a regular basis because you're trying to sort out somebody else's garbage. And that's not your job. You're not the recycling bin. You're not the compost pile. You can be a friend and an ear to listen on, but it must be within reason, and it must be within like your parameters of how you can handle something. If somebody is constantly calling you to tell you something bad and never has anything positive to say, and they also are not checking on you in the same manner, then you need to reevaluate some of your friendships. I know that this time frame has been something for me that I've actually been able to reevaluate some of my friendships, some of my family relationships, my communication with my family. Things have changed. It's not the same. I've been trying to be more effective in ensuring that I communicate more with my family. We have lost a family member since everything going on. Coronavirus has happened, and it kind of makes me sad. Now, I've made one family trip out. I've got a second family trip getting ready to happen. But again, this is just something like my kids. I have to communicate with them effectively. They're inside just like we are. We're all going through something right now, but effective communication is very important for relationships to continue and last and prosper. And I don't think a lot of the times people know how to communicate, especially via text, because there's really no way outside of exclamation points, question marks, and periods to really kind of show how you're feeling in a sentence. And yes, we have our emojis that we can put and make our emoji faces and our poop and whatever else happens. And we do have FaceTime capabilities or Skype or whatever other visual representations of communication that we can come up with thanks to technology. But it still doesn't change that if you're going to FaceTime somebody and you have nothing positive to say or nothing happy to say, then you got to reevaluate some things. I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. Am I the last to find out something happening in my circle? Am I the first to find out something that's happening in my circle? Do I find myself always being the fixer? And if you find yourself being the fixer and you don't want to be the fixer, what are you doing to stop or eliminate that particular role? Because all roles that we take on in life, in communication, family, friendships, it's all something that's by choice. If things aren't going well, if you're trying to date right now and you can't figure it out or sort it out, and it just seems like every single time you try to talk to that guy, the communication stops and somehow goes dull and dry, it's not because you can't physically go out. It's because your verbal communication, something is missing there, and it has to be adjusted. It's not them all the time. Sometimes it literally is you. It's not you, it's me. Yeah, the cliche statement there that you have to say. If you keep finding yourself in the same exact situation over and over and over again, you got to take a step back and look at how you are communicating with others. What's your body language like? If you are able to visually see that person, what is your conversation like? How are you effectively or non-effectively interacting with others? And have you become a social media stalker? Like, is that your way of communicating with people? Because that's the only way you can get your point across or kind of interact with others. Like, is that the only way that you're interacting? How about you take a social media fast or take a break from text messages for the day? Cut your phone off. There's absolutely nothing wrong with cutting your phone off and doing some self-analyzation or some self-meditation, like to kind of chill with yourself so you can regroup. This is a time where you have to regroup. You got to check yourself. You got to make sure that you are a good friend, a good mom, a good sister, a good brother, a good godparent, a good uncle. Whatever you are in your relationships to others, this is the time that if you're not good to yourself, you need to make yourself good to yourself so that you can be good to others. When was the last time that you checked on somebody to say hi? Not just sent an emoji and with good morning. Like, when was the last time that you actually meant a good morning to someone and didn't use like a cop out, I guess. I'm trying to think of the right word. You use just something that is just bland and unoriginal and cookie cutter to kind of express your feelings. When was the last time you actually broke it down and meant what you said to someone? I just thinking about communication with people right now and how things are going or not going with your hellos, your goodbyes, your interaction. Like, what is it like? How do you deal with it? And I mean, that's communication, y'all. Communication. Think about it. Check it out. Reevaluate. Self-check. Like, I can't say it anymore. Communication is important, and during this time frame, if your communication with others is crap and everybody else seems to be getting along with everybody else except for you, it's time for you to re-examine yourself. It's your girl Tori Grace, and this is another episode of Woman Crush Wednesday. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tori, TORIGR8CE. On my Instagram account, I am Tori Grace, and then of course Woman Crush Wednesday _podcast. It's going to be WCW _podcast with the latest updates. Don't forget to check out the Fleet DJs Atlanta Radio, as well as our X Squad affiliates, home of Woman Crush Wednesdays. Y'all, it's another Wednesday. Have a great week. Peace.